Hello all, I am Dr. Ashish Agrawat. In the video series of method validation, we have already discussed about the how to verify accuracy and how to verify precision. In this video, we will discuss about the linearity experiment, or it is a reportable range experiment. Right? So in linearity experiment, first thing is we require a material. What could be the material for our linearity experiment? So we can prepare the standard solution, like we can prepare the standard solution of glucose or urea or creatinine, right? So what we can do, suppose we want to make 20 milligram percentage of solution, right? So we will add 20 milligram that creatinine powder in 100 ml of solution. That will be our standard solution. Or we can use series of samples of non-concentration, that is assigned values by the manufacturer. Or we can take highly elevated specimen or patient pool of highly elevated specimen, and we will make a series of the dilution. Now one important terminology that we have to learn here, that is analytical measurement range. So it is a range of analyte values that method can measure without any dilution. So if our method can measure a range of different analyte values without the dilution, that is a analytical measurement range. And if the range of analyte values that a method can measure with the dilution, that will be clinical reportable range. Suppose the method analytical measurement range for SGPT, that is liver enzyme test, okay, if it is 5 to 1000 international unit per ml, but clinician want higher value than this, okay, we can report like greater than 1000 when we get the value more than 1000, okay, but clinician wants report which is more than 1000. In that case, we have to dilute the sample like 1/5 or 1/10, okay, and the result that we get, that will be more than 1000, like 2000 or 3000, that will be clinical reportable range. In normal calibration, there is 2 point of calibration. One is set at 0 and other is, suppose another set value is 100, okay. Here there will be optical density and here will be the concentration. Suppose we get the concentration of 100, okay, and we do the 2 point calibration. So in 2 point calibration, the values in between the 2 points will be okay, but what about the other points? Above those points, your graph may be linear or may not be the linear, right? So if we are using 6 point of calibration, 5 to 6 point of calibration, then you don't need linearity experiment, okay. So this linearity experiment is required when you are using a 2 point calibration, okay. Measured or reportable test values are compared to the assigned values. Suppose we have assigned value 100 and the measured or reported test values is 98. So that is compared in this linearity experiment. Suppose the value is 200, measured assigned value is 200, we are getting 197, okay, and we will draw the line, okay. You can watch my video how to compare the two methods, okay, and how to get the formula y equal to ax plus b, okay. I will share the link in the description and also in the suggestion box also. This b is the intercept on y-axis, right? That is our constant error, while a is the slope and it will give idea about the proportionate error. Suppose the slope is 1.05 as for example, okay, that we get from the Excel sheet, okay, when we plot the two results, one is measured and assigned, okay. We get the plot and we will get the formula A will be 1.05 and intercept is 2. Okay, so suppose our assigned value is 200. So what we will get? So 1.05 into our assigned value, that is 200, plus intercept is 2. So you will get 210 plus 2. So you will get 212 while the assigned value is 200. So this yi minus xi, so 212 minus 200, that will be our systemic error, right? So in linearity experiment, we can take 4 to 5 different level concentration. Okay, and dilution for the general chemistry will be water or normal saline, or you can follow manufacturing recommendation for dilution. Now how to proceed for the linearity experiment? So you can take two pools, one is near zero level or close to the detection limit, okay, and other is near or slightly above the expected upper limit of reportable range. Suppose for glucose the detection limit is 2 mg per deciliter. Okay, so you can take the value which is close to the detection limit or close to the zero. Okay, and the linearity and expected upper limit of reportable range is 500. Okay, so you can take the values which is more than 500 or above the 500. So here two pools could be mixed to 4 to 1, 3 to 2, 2 to 3 and 1 to 4. Suppose the low pool value here, as for example here it is 0, okay, label as a pool 1, and high pool value here, that is 500, label it as a pool 2. So you can take 4 part of pool 1 and 1 part of pool 2, that will be value will be around 100, right? When we take 3 part of pool 1 and 2 part of pool 2, the value will be 200. Same way you will get the result, you will get the concentration of 300 and 400. So we get now the 5 different concentration, right? Now the CLSI, Clinical Laboratory of Standard Institute, recommend making the 4 measurements, okay, replicate to the 4 times. But in practice we have seen the 3 replicates of each concentration, they are sufficient. Okay, so we are taking the 3 reading of 500 result, 3 reading of 400, 3 reading of 300, 3 reading of 200 and 3 reading of 100. Okay, now if we do the experiment and we replicate the 500 value for the 3 time, okay, we get the 3 result, 468, 472 and 476, and we have to average, okay, and that average will be 472 as per example. Okay, so and why we are doing the 3 replicates? To avoid any random error. Okay, now this 472 is the average, okay, and the assigned value is 500. So the bias will be 500 minus 472, so 28 bias we get. Okay, now for the glucose our lab CV is 300. Okay, means at 500 milligram concentration, so 3 into 5, our SD will be 15. Okay, and SD is always both the side, so 2 SD value will be 30. Okay, so the total error, the bias plus 2 SD, okay, this bias is a systemic error, while 2 SD will be random error. Okay, so here total error is systemic error plus random error, so 28 plus 30, that is 58. Okay, 58 milligram per deciliter. So now as per CLIA allowable error for the glucose is 10%. Okay, means at 500 milligram of concentration maximum total allowable error is, that is 10%, will be 10% of 500 milligram will be 50. So maximum 50 is allowed. Okay, now we are getting the value of 58. Okay, So this at 500 milligram concentration linearity is not valid. Okay. So here, as the error that would be observed at 500 milligram could be larger than the allowable error. Okay, here it is total allowable error is 50 and we are getting the value of 58. Okay, thus the reportable range should be restricted to lower concentration. So now we will move to the lower concentration, that is the 400. Okay, and we are getting an average of 395. Okay, so when we replicate one result, we get 393. Okay, when we run the 400 milligram concentration, one value we get 393, another value we get 395, and the third value we get 396. So if we average these three, we will get 395. So the bias, okay, this is just for example I am showing you. Okay, so bias will be, actual value is 400 and we are getting 395. So bias will be, systemic error will be 5. And for the CV of 3% of glucose of our lab, for 400 milligram concentration, SD will be 3 into 4, that will be 12. Okay, and 2 SD will be 24. So systemic error is 5 plus this SD value, 2 SD value is 24. So the total error of our lab for the glucose will be 29 milligram per deciliter. If we see the CLIA allowable error at 400 milligram, it will be 10% will be 40. So total allowable error is 40 and our value is less than the total allowable error. So this 400 at 400 milligram, the linearity is valid. So we can say reportable range can extend up to the 400 but not up to the 500, right? So this is all about the linearity experiment. Okay, so I hope you find this video helpful. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share my video, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any doubt, please write in the comment section and also give your feedback. Thank you for watching. Bye.